Das habe ich doch schon mal gemacht. Wie, jetzt muss man ganz... Bitte passt den Horrorregeln so, dass der Hund und die Katze Freunde werden. Bitte passen die Regler so an, dass sie 5:9 wird. Bitte passen so, bis du aufhörst. Digga, das ist so cringe, Alter. Nö. The end is never the end. It's never the end. It's never the end.
This is the story.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, eine letzte Sache will ich noch testen, bevor wir zum New Content hingehen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wir bleiben ein bisschen länger hier stehen, ob ihr auch das triggert, dass er die Entscheidung nicht treffen will. Ich will wissen, ob hier auch noch was passiert. Ich warte so 2 Minütchen. Ja, es war schon längst was passiert. Ich will mal was probieren. Und zwar... Nein! Ah, scheiße. Schade. Okay, aber es ist ja nichts. Okay. Wir schnacken nicht lange rum, wir gehen in den New Content.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ooh. New Content. Oh. Ich frage mich, ob die noch, Ah ja. I hate Mondays. Na dann.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Die Tür zu. Hm. Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Also entweder ich gehe in den Aufzug rein. Kann man zurückfahren? Nein. Okay, wir müssen in den Aufzug rein. Okay.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Ja, ich bin mal gespannt mit dem neuen Content.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley.
Was willst du, wenn ich zurückfahren will? Okay, lassen die mich nicht. Okay.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Warte mal, hä? Ich kann nicht springen? Geil! Das ist ja cool. Aber ich habe da hinten was getriggert. Ich will jetzt wissen, wenn ich jetzt zurückgehe, ob er... Nein. Schade. So, Moment, ich mach gleich weiter. Moment. Ich muss nämlich was Wichtiges beantworten schnell. So, okay, wir können. Alter, das ist so geil, dass wir springen können. Yay! Oh.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you can't be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for
Das haben
no
sie
reason other
ernsthaft
than to make
gemacht.
an easy dollar. And don't get me started
Wieder
on the level
Sprecher.
of craftsmanship that's gone
Es
into
ist
it.
natürlich
In
wahrscheinlich nicht
fact,
alles,
I'm
aber der
looking
Sprecher
right
ist
now
geil.
at the
Das
game's
was?
trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Alter, guck mal die Sprecher,
It's
Alter.
my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Ey, ich will bei New Content bleiben. Drecksack. Wie, das war's jetzt eigentlich? Als ob das jetzt wirklich nur diese 2 Reue waren. Come on. Also dafür ein neues Spiel kaufen, ey, das ist doch schwer lächerlich. Hätte ich kurz Mini-Update reinbringen können. Da muss mehr sein, Leute. Was ist mit dem Büro passiert?
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Wo hier die Tür? Ah, ich weiß nicht. Tür oder... Wegen die Tür.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
New Content?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. War doch die richtige Entscheidung, dass man in die Lüftungsschacht gehen sollte. Hätte jetzt sein können, okay, die Tür ist dafür da, dass man wieder zurückkommt. Okay. Falls man das doch nicht so machen will. Okay, hätte ja sein können. Entschuldigung. Krieg ich wenigstens noch eine zweite Chance? Ja, danke.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Alter, ich bin so aufgeregt, ne? Okay. Also Leute, das, was wir jetzt hier alles hier sehen, ist neu in dieses Spiel reinkommt. Das, was wir vorher gesehen haben, war schon vorher im Game. Von 2013. Das hier ist alles neu. Das ist,
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
wo bin ich denn hier gelandet? Alter, bin ich jetzt bei Herr der Ringe oder so? What?
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Good times. Ich will mich hier deutlich umsehen, also Keine Beschwerden hier, bitte. Oh, die Musik. Was ist das jetzt für ein Random?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh. Nee, da kommen wir leider nicht rein.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Wie komme ich jetzt darüber, Kollege?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
Wait,
hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Wait. Ist das mit Absicht, dass ich da hingehen kann? Ja, ne? Ja, gut.
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny.
Yo!
Make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh, der ist der nächste böse
What's
Kommentar.
this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes,
Alter
a skip
Junge.
button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and... You're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you
Ist das
need a
jetzt einfach nur so
description of it, but
rumgelaufen
if I
oder
had
so?
to
Also für New
describe it,
Content ist das
I'd
echt
say it
schwach.
was perhaps less
Da
of
muss
a
man die Entwickler
rumination
kritisieren.
and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button.
Ach
The
so,
minute
der
I
wollte,
start
dass
to
ich mal
go off on a
draufdrücke, aber es ging mir auch
faultless
langsam auf den
display
Keks,
of
dieses Gelaber,
self-absorption,
Alter.
it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly
Digga, der macht das
pressurized
immer wieder,
gas
ne?
works. Perhaps that would have been a smart thing to check. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes?
What?
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're
Ich drück noch
really,
mal.
truly getting... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have
Wie
had
lange war ich
time
jetzt
to
weg?
think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I
Wie
stopped
viel?
keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year?
Was?
Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities.
Alter, jetzt
I
ein
felt
Gelaber geht
nothing
wieder
at
auf
all
den
but
Keks,
regret
Alter.
for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur.
Hallo?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to...
Der nervt. Ich würde gerne wissen, wie viele Jahre ich weitergereist bin, Alter.
The
Alter.
end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Wie oft kann ich jetzt noch da draufklicken eigentlich? What the? Komm, noch einmal. Der Sprecher hat keinen Bock mehr. Ja? Alter! Hier wächst doch schon langsam schon Grünzeug. Ich glaube, der Sprecher existiert nicht mehr. Alter, dieser Sound war gerade gruselig. What the? Ich glaube, nochmal drauf drücken kann ich nicht, oder? Wo zum Teufel bin ich? Alter, YOLO, einfach probieren. Ist mir egal, ich drück da jetzt nochmal drauf, Alter. Ich drück da jetzt nochmal drauf. YOLO. Arg. Okay, das haben die jetzt geändert, okay. Never the end. Oh komm, das war's? Hm.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wie jetzt? Nee, ne? Neu. New Content. Ey. Come on, als ob die das gebracht haben, Alter.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay, es geht also doch noch weiter. Ihr könnt euch alle freuen. Yay! bin ein bisschen erkältet. Ja, der neue Content macht Spaß. Kann gern so weitergehen. Ich hoffe jetzt nicht, dass ich guck mal, wie viel neues Content es gibt. Vielleicht machen wir den kompletten neuen Content. Dann gibt es das nur ein 4. Dann kann ich mich das Spiel beenden hier. Was hast du denn für ein schönes für mich vorbereitet, mein Freund?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
What the fuck?
Yes, you see? Isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory
Ist das ein
with a
Teaser?
fully fledged sequel. An
Ist das
entirely
eine
new
Anteaserung
experience
auf den
built from the
zweiten Teil?
ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different
Alter,
directions.
dieses Spiel
This
ist so
is what
geil,
fans
Alter.
have truly been
Diese
asking
20
for.
Euro, die ich ausgebe, haben sich richtig gelohnt, Alter. Die haben sich richtig gelohnt.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation
Ich weiß
and
gar nicht, wie viel das Spiel
long-term
nochmal kostet.
franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Warte, ich guck kurz nach. Obwohl, du kannst ja eigentlich selber in den Links gucken. Wie heißt das Spiel? Stanley. Ja, also ungefähr 21 bis 24 Euro. New Features. Ja, muss jeder selbst wissen. Ja, wie gesagt. Ach, schade, ich kann den Bus nicht nehmen. Muss jeder selbst wissen, aber ich bin ganz ehrlich, ich finde, das Spiel lohnt sich.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
What the fuck? Wo sind wir denn hier? Oh. Och nö, ich darf jetzt wählen oder was?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
The Jump Circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Was ist hier?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it?
Also ich habe mit allem gerechnet, ne? Aber nicht mit so einem Quatsch, ne?
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see, what a thrill, what a rush.
Der arme Sprecher, ne?
The button
Der muss
describes
der bleibt
you.
nicht so.
Do it again.
Jim.
Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Drecksack. Ich wollte Jim hören. Jim. Ich werde übrigens am Ende des Spiels, wenn wir alles gesehen haben, meine Bewertung des Spiels sagen.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Hier ist auch noch eine Tür. Oh. Unendliches Loch, gratis Trophäe. Was ist denn hier so Schönes?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Oh. Das will ich noch nicht testen. Ich möchte gerne noch mal dieses Trophäe. Wenn ich jetzt in keinen anderen Raum gehen kann, dann werde ich das mal ganz kurz testen. Okay, da kommt man nicht hoch. So, Moment. Ich will gucken, ob man beim Throw New plus Easy Trophy reinkommt. Ach, das ist eine Treppe runter, dann kommt man safe da rein. Ich, Exit. Ausgang. Wie Ausgang? Kann man das alles hier schon verlassen? Oh, bitte nicht.
Oh goodness, Stanley, this is very awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to both the exhibits for the bucket and the collectibles. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later,
Okay.
and it involves both
Okay,
of them.
okay,
And I
okay.
really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the collectibles and the bucket, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
Ooh.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Alter, das Bild sieht so creepy aus, ne? Eins von 6, yay! Collect them all. Nice.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Okay, dann gehen wir noch schnell hier rein und dann gehen wir in das schwarze Loch da. Free Trophy.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Aber ich glaube wirklich, das hier ist ein, wie nennt man das mal? Eine Leak oder eine Vorschau, was ich habe irgendwie das Gefühl, die bringen wirklich ein Stanley Parable 2. Wenn die das für hier so
What
richtig,
else?
so weißt du?
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Ich könnte mir also gut vorstellen, einen zweiten Teil. Ich meine, das Spiel ist fantastisch. Also, ich habe noch nie so ein Spiel gesehen, was wirklich weiß, und das auch so gut funktioniert mit den ganzen Endings und so. Also, klar, es ist ein bisschen teuer, gebe ich dir recht, aber für mich ist das mehr als eine 10 von 10. So, rennt da die Olga. Hui!
Isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Bianca.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Ich drück die Maus Prinzip nicht.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a man cheat and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Ich drücke jetzt immer noch nicht. Ich warte noch etwas. Ich will irgendwie den noch ein bisschen triggern. Ob da noch was passiert oder ob da wirklich nichts mehr passiert. Ich hab's mir nämlich schon gedacht, dass man weiter runterfallen kann. Ja gut, es passiert nicht mehr,
Great.
okay.
Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The
Hab was
problem is
getriggert.
that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean,
Ja.
admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite.
Ey, ich will ihn so lang triggern, ne? Das macht so
It's no
Bock.
longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see the scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
What the fuck? Alter, dieses Spiel ist einfach nur genial, Alter. Guck mal, die haben sogar daran gedacht, wenn das noch so ein kleines Stückchen vom Loch noch da ist, ne? Dieses kleine Ding dann, ne? Da was einzubauen. Daran haben die sogar schon dran gedacht. Also das ist einfach geil, Alter. Ändere deine Perspektive, was? What? Hammer! WTF, wie sieht der bitte aus eigentlich? Ändere deine Wahrnehmung.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up the space of mine. My head's stronger.
Ändere deine Realität.
You're no longer mine.
Ist das Quatsch, Alter.
My head's stronger. You're no longer using up the space of mine.
Jawohl, in Blau bitte.
My
Alter.
head's stronger. Now you're no longer
Alter, ändere dich selbst.
using up the
Ernsthaft?
space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're no longer
Das
using
bleibt
up
bitte so
the
jetzt.
space of mine. My
Ja, was gibt's denn noch?
stronger. Now you're no longer using up the space of mine.
Error.
My head's stronger.
Okay, wie alles normal? Ja.
No longer
Komm, das bleibt jetzt so. Wir sind mal auf dem Kopf.
Stanley?
mine.
Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
Wie wär's, wenn du mich hier
From the looks of
rausholst?
things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Jetzt fahre ich wieder runter, oder was? Ja, wow, Alter. Ach nee, okay, jetzt, wo spawn ich jetzt?
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Okay, ich habe ja eigentlich, hier war ich noch nicht.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning
Alter,
the
dieser
game
neue
to be
Content
less
ist so bekloppt,
uncomfortable.
Alter, ne?
Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Die
Can you
Lache!
feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair.
Geil, Alter, wir
must
haben,
already be
endlich kann man ein
sweeping
Item
through your
aufheben,
body.
Alter.
And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Wie jetzt? Alter, ich kann den einmal mitnehmen? Geil.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay, wo waren wir noch nicht? Ich meine, wir waren eigentlich schon überall. Merch. So. Also eigentlich könnte ich auch zum Exit langsam gehen.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay. never mind.
Ernsthaft?
Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. What the fuck? Alter, das Spiel killt grad alles, ne? Das killt grad alles mit dem New Content. Hä? Ey, wenn wir jetzt wirklich in einem anderen Büro und so, das ist, Digga, ich schwör's dir, Spiel des Jahres. Muss, Alter. Komm schon. Verkack jetzt nicht, das ist jetzt dein Moment, Spiel. Richtig noch geiler zu werden. Komm, verkack es nicht.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for...
Ah, wie verkackt, Alter.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket.
Ja, ist okay. The new content, ja, okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ich mach mal die Story ein bisschen mit, ne? Also ich weiß nicht, ne, Rechtsweg, ich gucke mir irgendwann mal an, ne? Zu privat, aber...
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Stanley und der Eimer, ist das geil, Alter. Oh!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
Oh.
no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Kann man jetzt nicht mehr da rein? Nein.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Das ist so bekloppt,
At
ne?
this
Der
point,
Dialog,
Stanley
ne?
was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with
Ist
the
noch nicht noch
bucket
da?
that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
So. Oh!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley
Ja.
figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Nee,
Another
ich fand Stan
Stanlerine
Mini.
under your belt.
Ich frage mich, ob ich eine verpasst habe. Ich glaube, ja. Also, das ist... Also, ich muss sagen, hätten sie das Aussehen jetzt von dem Büro und so alles nochmal geändert, ne? Mit den, weil ja stand ja Spielbeginn und so, weißt du, dieser Hintergrund gerade, ne? Hätten die das doch verändert, dann schwöre ich dir, dann hätte das Spiel alles gekillt. Dann hätte es jedes einzelne Spiel, was dieses Jahr rausgekommen ist,
The
zerstört,
elevator
Alter.
raced downward, plummeting towards
Aber generell
an
eines der
unknown
krassesten
fate.
Spiele, was ich jemals gespielt habe.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would, but of course, Stanley and the
Beide
bucket
den
thought better
grausamen
of
Tod,
it
geil.
and realized they simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Digga, wie er immer den Eimer erwähnt, ey. Ich geh krachen, ey.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Da bin ich. Das ist mein Büro, 427. Hier. Yay.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
What the fuck,
At this point,
Alter.
he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Falls es noch mehr New Content gibt, den werde ich werde bei Seth mal vorbeischauen, um ein bisschen Tipps zu erhalten, Leute. Wenn es mehr geben sollte, das werde ich auf jeden Fall morgen machen. Ich hoffe, wir kommen jetzt langsam zu einem richtig großen Ende, weil ich möchte auch
But
langsam
here was
Feierabend
the
machen
proof.
mit Stanley.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or
Was?
content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert...
Das war beim letzten Mal aber nicht so.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths to the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it.
Wow.
Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
The end's never the end, the end is never the end. Was geht jetzt ab? Kann ich endlich Feierabend machen?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two...
Oha. Wait. Hat sich das Spiel wegen den New Content wirklich jetzt in eine neue Version verwandelt? Oder weil ich es neu starte, ist das wieder das alte System? Alter.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley...
Ich muss erstmal kurz darauf klarkommen, Leute. Wie gehen wir... Wenn das Menü jetzt auch noch anders aussieht, Alter. Aber ich glaube, dass... Was ist denn hier jetzt bitte passiert? Ey, Leute, ganz ehrlich, okay. Das Spiel... killt einfach alles. Ich sag euch ganz ehrlich. Die Entwickler haben es... Es ist genial. Es ist mehr als genial. Es ist... Schon allein die Vorversion ist schon geil, aber das killt gerade alles. Ey, dass sie sich Mühe machen, für Stanley Parable 2 so quasi mit einzubauen. Und diese Hintergrundausländer noch die... mit den Eimern verrückte Sachen, also dass sie sich Mühe machen. Nennt mir einen Entwickler-Team, nennt mir ein Spiel, was sich so viel Mühe gemacht hat wie das Game, Alter. Nennt mir einen. Ich kenne keinen. Also das ist eines der krassesten Spiele, die ich jemals in meinem Leben gezockt habe. Und ich sage euch ganz ehrlich, ich werde morgen auf jeden Fall noch einen Stream machen. Ich hoffe, das Spiel hat noch was zu bieten. Sehr hat 7 Videos rausgebracht. Ich glaube, von den 7 Videos sind wir gerade bei 5. oder bei 4. gerade mal. Das heißt, wir haben noch viel zu sehen, ey. Ich freue mich auf den Rest, Alter. Ich weiß nicht, ob Skywalker noch Bock auf das Game hat. Ich habe auf jeden Fall noch Bock auf das Game. Und ich würde sagen, wir machen da morgen erst weiter, weil wie gesagt, wir haben jetzt schon 23 Uhr durch. Also ich bin zwar nicht müde, aber ich möchte auch mal langsam mal einen Feierabend machen. Deswegen, Leute, morgen Abend, Uhrzeit steht noch nicht fest, geht es weiter mit The Stanley Parable 2. Ja gut, oder Ultra Deluxe. Auf jeden Fall, es hat sehr Spaß gemacht. Der New Content ist einfach geil. Und wir sehen uns morgen wieder. Haut da rein. Euer Gamer. Ciao.